Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for visiting my case study site. My problem of practice that I chose is actually a hot topic in higher education today, and that is essentially external constituents asking whether or not college is worth it. And by external constituents, I mean students and their families wondering whether or not the high prices that they have to pay for certain schools, whether those schools are delivering on their promise for return on education. In particular, they're worried about post-graduation employment, as well as whether or not the student is going to be able to obtain gainful employment after they leave school. So there's their concern. There's also the concern of employers themselves, saying that oftentimes they're finding students that are recently graduated are missing key competencies, and therefore they're questioning their preparation of students, the institution's preparation of students while in school. And then on top of all of that, you have government agencies as well as politicians wanting to turn traditional curriculums that have been associated with a liberal arts education to more vocation-based, and they think that that may be the solution in meeting 21st century work demands. So with all of this questioning by students, families, employers, and politicians, it's no wonder that institutions are definitely under pressure to justify their worth and essentially their value. So in justifying their value and looking at career centers and career development in particular, you would think that these departments would actually be an institution's greatest asset, and also their first line of defense in providing the numbers that they need in terms of gainful employment, as well as information that they need in terms of what they're doing to prepare their students. Unfortunately, this is not the case at many institutions, not all, but many, because the service models of these career departments are actually outdated. And what I mean by that is that the nature of work has changed so much, especially since 2008 and the downturn in the economy. The nature of work has changed, but essentially the way that we prepare students to take on that work hasn't. And so gone are the days where career centers can essentially be passive sideline services in the background, not really integral to a student's educational experiences, and essentially something that a student can, utilize before they graduate, primarily around their senior year when they're scrambling for work. Today's career centers and today's career service models need to be a lot more proactive. They need to reach out to students the moment they step onto campus in order to establish a relationship and a game plan. And they need to continue that relationship throughout a student's time at that institution. They need to infuse experiential learning opportunities that connect a student's classroom learning with application experiences, but they actually need to go beyond that. Now career centers have to help students understand how their outside classroom application work contributes to their learning. So they need to help students synthesize the gains that they've obtained through that work and through those experiences in order to be able to communicate skills and competencies to prospective employers and others in their professional fields, like alumni and mentors. So in order to, for career centers that can make the transition and that will need to make the transition sooner versus later in order to help the institution remain sustainable, there's many gains. The gains obviously start with the student in meeting student needs and forming partnerships with the students throughout their educational careers. But it also means preparing students not only for short-term placement right after they graduate, but really what they're doing is they're instilling a a mind frame in the student that's going to help the student weather the transition not only from college to career, but really help the student establish a long-term strategy to weather other transitions in their life after college, and the inevitable change that they're going to experience in the job market. Institutions are also going to be able to form better internal partnerships. They're going to be able to tear down some of the walls that they've previously had between departments. They're going to be able to tear down the walls that they've previously had with their faculty member, especially between faculty and higher level administration. And essentially, they're going to be able to build better partnerships with prospective employers. They're going to be able to build better partnerships with their alumni. So all of this essentially means that in the end, with a transformed contemporary approach to career services, institutions are going to be able to deliver their respective educational missions in the delivery of higher education in a more efficient, effective, and accountable way. Thank you so much.